You know that feeling? You're in a huge, amazing city like Chicago. You're surrounded by millions of people, but it still feels almost impossible to make a real, solid connection. If you've ever felt that, trust me, you are not the only one. So today, we're going to look at a really interesting new way of tackling this exact problem.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? When we were kids, making friends with automatic. Now you wake up one day in your 30s or 40s and think, wait a minute, where did everybody go, and how on earth do I start from scratch? It's such a common thing to feel. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Life just happens. Work gets crazy, people move for jobs, we get locked into our routines. It's not that we don't want new friends, it's just that the old playbook for making them, it just doesn't seem to work anymore.
So yeah, let's just call it what it is, the adult friendship problem. The old school methods we're always told to try, well, they usually end up being more frustrating than anything else.
I mean, think about it. Join a club, they say. Okay, but that takes so much trial and error just to find one you vibe with. Or what about friendship apps? So often, they end up feeling just like the dating apps you're trying to get away from. There's no real strategy there for a genuine connection.
Okay, but what if there was a better way? A system that's actually designed for the reality of adult life? Well, that's the whole idea behind this service called New Friends CHI.
And the keywords here are really important. Holistic, authentic, and low pressure. This isn't just about throwing you into a room and hoping for the best. It's about creating a whole environment, an entire experience that helps you make real friends without all the usual awkwardness.
And this is where you really see the huge difference. Most speed friending things are one and done. You go, you have a nice time, and then crickets. New Friends CHI thinks of it as an ecosystem. See, it's a whole connected system that's built to take that little spark of a conversation and actually help it grow into a real friendship.
So how does this ecosystem actually work? Well, it all comes down to a really smart three-part system. This is basically the engine that makes the whole thing run.
And it's super logical when you break it down. First, you create that initial spark. Then, they give you the tools to keep the momentum going. And finally, you have a place to let those connections go deeper. Let's look at each one.
Okay, so everything kicks off right here with the spark. This is your way in, a speed friending event, either in person or online. But the secret sauce is the guided conversations. They give you prompts and questions so you get to skip all that painful what do you do, small talk, and jump right into something real.
And getting in the door is super accessible. It's a $25 ticket for one of these events. That's your entry fee into this entire ecosystem we're talking about. A pretty small price to kickstart a whole new social life, right?
All right, now this is where things get really cool. After the event, you have the option to keep that momentum going. It's an add-on that uses an algorithm to send you one hand-picked friend match every week based on who you are and who you seemed to connect with. It's basically a little reminder, a gentle nudge to actually follow up.
And for $10 a month, you get 4 of those curated matches. You can think of it like a little insurance policy, making sure those connections you felt at the event don't just fizzle out a week later.
And finally, Part 3 is all about going deeper. This add-on opens the door to a private online community. This is like the clubhouse. It's where you can actually stay in touch, organize your own hangouts, and connect with people from the entire New Friends CHI network, not just your one event.
And get this, for a one-time fee of just $5, you get access to that community for good. It's the space where these new friendships can really put down roots and grow over time.
Now here's what I find really fascinating. This whole system isn't just a bunch of random ideas somebody threw together. It's actually built on some real, proven psychological principles of how we as humans form bonds with each other. It's something called the friendship formula. And the basic idea is that for a friendship to really happen, you need a few key things. You need to be physically near each other, you need to interact pretty often for a good amount of time, and you need some level of, real emotional connection.
And you can totally see how their three-part system is built around this formula. The events, that's your proximity. The weekly matches and the online community, that creates the frequency and shared experiences. And those guided conversations, they're designed to crank up the intensity and get to that deeper connection. It's all very intentional.
So, what's the big takeaway here? How does all this come together to help you do the one thing you signed up for? To actually genuinely find your people and expand your social circle. And here's the really beautiful part. This whole thing isn't static. Every single time there's an event, the entire network gets stronger. The community gets bigger, more diverse, more vibrant,
which means the chances of you finding your people just keep going up.
So in the end, it's really about taking charge of something we usually just leave up to luck. It's asking a pretty direct question. Are you ready to try a new, smarter way to build the connections you've been missing?
And that really is the most exciting question of all. In a city with millions of people, a system like this is designed to help you find those few who could become your next great friends. It leaves you wondering, not if you'll meet someone, but who they're going to be.